Welcome to LA Football Network and Chargers Unleashed. We got the great Lorenzo Neal here with us. Ryan Daiyan, Dan Wolkenstein. Lorenzo, welcome to the row. Chargers fans, embrace the one and only. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I'm glad to be on the show, man. Talk a little Chargers, man. Let's go. We can't sing the song like it used to be, San Diego Troopers up, but now we can say LA Superchargers.
Los Angeles.
It's a little too long, but you know what? We'll go with it because there's a storm coming. And the lightning bulbs is going to be that storm. I'm telling you right now, I'm fired up. They're getting ready to bring out a can of whip ass. We got old Harbaugh in the room, and I'm fired up.
Hearing you give me chills. I go back to the days of LT, Gates, Phillip Rivers, the whole nine. That team should have won a few. We won't talk about that too much.
God, please don't.
But obviously, the storm's coming, right? We've got Jim Harbaugh, Jesse Minter now here, Greg Roman looking to run the ball, which we know is that's your bread and butter. Talk to us about what the last few years have been like covering the team, what you've seen, and how you think that changes with the storm that is Jim Harbaugh and company.
Well, you can't pray for rain and complain about the mud. And now you have a situation where you had a quarterback that wants to throw the ball all around the park, that's capable, that's Herbert, capable of throwing all around the park. But now guess what? You don't have to just do it by air. You can do it by land. And now you're going to build a bully. And so what happens is you have a lot of teams that they're pass happy. So the mindset is to protect the quarterback, throw the ball downfield, and you don't have the physicality. No more of that. And that's what I look about Harbaugh. He's a coach that played quarterback in this league, but he was physical, tough. But he understands. He wanted to throw the ball. But think about it. Now here's a guy that said, I'm going to run the ball first. We are going to still have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's not going to throw it 50, 60 times a game, but he's going to have more efficiency. You're going to see more shots down the field because of the run game, because now you're going to have 8, 9 guys in the box. So I think Harbaugh is going to build a culture, and the culture is tough, dependable, hard-nosed football, a lot like Marty Schottenheimer, I think, because you're going to have a physical team that's still going to be unbelievable in the passing game.
So talk about the Marty Ball days, right? The mentality that team had where they were going to run, it was going to be a first down, you're going to get long chunk yards. What does that do as a player on the offense, or even just as a team, when you have the confidence to get that extra yard, to get the 3rd and 1, the 1st and 10 for positive yardage, and what that mindset is to have it versus to not, like the Chargers haven't had the last couple of years?
Well, when you have that mindset to run the ball and be physical, you beat teams up. Teams start to get tired. Teams start to say, God, it's 3rd and 3, you run the ball, pick up 5. It's 3rd and 5, and you still have a guy like LaDainian and picks up 10, 15. That's demoralizing. When you come out and it's like, okay, it's nothing you can do. Now it's 3rd and 2, you throw the ball. Now you go play action. So what that does is establish a town of toughness, and that's what this Charger team has lacking. Not that they don't have tough men on the team, not that they don't have tough guys, but it's changing the culture, changing the mindset. So what that does when you establish a run game and you establish, even if it's not great, the physicality, teams are saying, oh my goodness, I'm putting on big boy pads, and they get tired of pounding, lining up, pounding, play after play after play. It just wears teams down. It's a reason why Baltimore went so far this year. It's a reason why Kansas City Chiefs, I know everyone talks about Mahomes, but look at Pacheco, look at that run game. You look at another team, Detroit Lions, look how physical. The San Francisco 49ers, McCaffrey running the ball, getting downhill. You have to be able to run the ball. You can't play basketball on the grass on a consistent basis and win in the National Football League.
Yeah, Lorenzo, I don't know if this is a real actual a question you can answer, but I'm curious, as a player, the great player you were in a locker room for so many years, we always talk about culture, right? The importance of culture. Jim Harbaugh has been known as a culture builder. Can you quantify or explain what that looks like? How do you build a culture that maybe the last regime didn't do?
Yeah, I think when you hold guys accountable. See, when you're a starter and you're a guy to think that it's about you. I've seen Marty go up to LaDainian and say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna need you today," and have him tell the story, and he. In the meeting, LT, you got to do better. And everyone's looking at that oh my God, he's getting on LT.
That's freaking LT.
And here's LaDainian Thompson. So now you start to say, I'm going to hold you accountable. Now it's like, okay, hey, Lorenzo, hey, I'm pulling you out. Andrew, go in there. We're going to run power. I might have missed the block. Now Andrew Pinnock, he's going to go run power, running my play. Okay, really? So now you start to get, okay, hey, look, guess what? Hey, Keenan, we're going to take him out on this play. We're going to we're going to put this guy in on this particular receiving play. We're going to put a young guy in. And so now I'm telling you what it does. Iron sharpens iron. So now you're holding guys more accountable. This is how you build a culture with consistency, because when you don't have that, now guys are like, okay, I'm the guy. No, that's what Harbaugh's going to do. He's going to say, okay, look, boom, I'm going with another guy. And guess what?
Man.
And now guys are going to start working harder. They're in the film more. They're not making the same mistakes. They're getting better. That's how you build culture. Absolutely.
It's not, I think about this. It's not about the name on the back, but it's a play on the field. And I think that's something that you saw the previous regime. They give so much credit to their guys, to the ones who are veterans. But looking at the play on the field, it doesn't match. And
Absolutely.
so the accountability is something that I think a lot of Chargers fans, we hear, right? We hear these buzzwords about culture, accountability, tough, rugged, all those things. But, like, tangibly, when you're a player going from previous regime to this one, like, how do you think Jim Harbaugh, like, establishes this? Like, what does he do tactically to instill that? Is it just, if you don't do it, someone else will? Like, what does he do?
Well, I think it's not a matter of what you do, it's how you lead. I mean, people don't need to be told what to do. This ought to be reminded. And when you're saying, hey, this is what I want and this is what I expect, Jim Harbaugh's going to be one of the first guys in there. He's going to be the guy out there at practice doing this stuff, going through things, making sure that guys are lined up. He's going to put demand that his coaches say, look, we demand excellence. And that's what coaches do. You don't go out and say, okay, just do. It's not the rah-rah. It's not that. It's like, hey, coach, you coach him. You getting better. These guys can play. It's your job to be the teacher. It's your job to get these guys caught up to speed. So that's what it's about. When you're building a culture, it starts with the coaches, because the coaches are mentor and they're extension of the head coach. So the head coach, that's why Harbaugh went and got these guys, these men, and these other coaches that can lead these players. So that's what it's about. Yeah, it's not overnight. This is something that's going to be built. Free agents is going to come want to play for Harbaugh. Why? Because they want to win. They want to win. It's a reason why Belichick had so much success for so many years. It wasn't that everyone got along with him, but the demand was there, and they wanted to win. And if you don't want to win, guess what? You're not going to be a Charger.
Yeah. I got one more for you, and it's a little different, but I think the AFC West is like the greatest division in football. Great rivalries, great stories. Obviously, the Chiefs in the Super Bowl yet again. When you played, and the Seahawks were in the division for a little bit back then too, who was the team in the AFC West that you like hated the most to play? Who was your biggest rival?
Believe it or not, it was probably Denver. Denver and KC. KC, think about it. They had some great players. They were always right there, but Denver was, always right there at the top. And then, then it was a switch. The Chargers, we start winning that division, year in and year out. We just, couldn't get over that darn hump when we were the best and should have won Super Bowls. It didn't happen. So it was just that division, though, like you said, exciting. Fireworks is going to happen. You're always going to have quarterbacks going to be able to throw it, high-scoring games, defensive stars. It's always been an exciting division.
Chargers fans have been desperate for a team that is like consistent and a contender, and someone that can prove their worth and prove their grit, not just talk about it. For Justin Herbert, I guess last question for me. Everyone talks about like what the Greg Roman hire is going to do or not do, and how important or impactful a running game is. But for Justin Herbert specifically, there's so much talk nationally about where he ranks or doesn't rank. What will Jim Harbaugh bring to him, or Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh bring to him specifically, that he hasn't had before? And how do you think
that
will
translate? It's a one-word answer, and it's not just for him; it's for everybody. Consistency. Herbert has been up and down. One day he'll go out and throw 300, 400, 500 yards, and you say, oh my God. Then he'll throw the ball over and not score a touchdown. He's like, man, receivers dropping passes. 4, 5, 6 drops. That inconsistency is over with. Herbert is going to flourish. Herbert may be MVP of the league because of what Harbaugh. You're going to have a guy now that's not just going to throw for numbers, but the consistency and the percentage rate's going to go up. The efficiency. There's going to be such a huge difference in what he's going to bring to the team, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing, and it's not just going to be friggin' with Herbert, it's going to be with the team.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Lorenzo Neal joining us here on Chargers Relation to LA Football Network. Last one for you, the draft. Coming up. Lots of holes that need to get filled. If you are the GM, let's put Lorenzo Neal GM hat on.
Love the GM.
First 3 picks, however you want to do it. What position do you think that they need to target early? Early, like day 1 or day 2?
Well, I love what they did. You brought in a GM. I know him personally from Baltimore. This guy's great. You see the way he built in Baltimore.
Joe Ortiz.
You see what he's been doing there. I think the first thing they do, I think that it's about filling the cabinets. If I go and get a porterhouse steak, and I got a family of 8, and I got how long is that going to last? That's going to give them all a bite, and it might be great, but is that going to be sustainable? If I go get a huge bag of beans, rice, top ramen, tuna fish, all the other things I could do, guess what? Now I have sustainability instead of $100 on one steak, $100 on potatoes and all the other things. That's what I think you're going to see by this organization. They may trade back. They know they need another tackle. You know you need Corey's retired, so you need a center. I think you're going to build in the trenches. When you're building, you build in the trenches. That is going to be imperative for this team to start building in the trenches. And you know you can go out and get running backs. You can go those things. But there's going to be a lot of guys and a lot of turnover on this team that they're going to have to do. But I think you build in the trenches. And don't be surprised if they trade back to later in the first to still get a guy that people don't look at because they're doing a great job of evaluating talent. It's going to be interesting to see how this team builds.
Lorenzo Neal, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been so much fun. You're a legend of Chargers folklore. I cannot believe that we're sitting here talking to you. The stuff you guys did together, Sean Merriman, you, Phillips, Rivers, LT, that group was insane.
And for those that don't know, host of Believe in Chargers, great show. Love what you do there.
Thank
so
you.
everyone make sure to check that out.
Yes, and we'll do it again, guys. Let's do it again.
Let's do it. Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Cheers,
Appreciate
guys.
you.